Hello listeners, welcome back to Luke's English podcast. This episode features a conversation with returning guests Amber and Paul. They have been regular guests on this podcast for over 10 years now. Long-term listeners will know what to expect from this episode, but if you're fairly new to the podcast, then you should know that, well, you're going to hear a fairly natural, quite fast conversation between three friends in English. Okay, the idea is that you just can enjoy taking part. Well, I say taking part, I mean listening to this funny conversation in English. It might be difficult. It will probably be more challenging as a listening exercise than when I'm on my own. It's normally easier to follow me when I'm speaking on my own, but when I'm with other people, especially with Amber and Paul, we kind of go quite quickly and we go off in different directions. So it will definitely help you to follow this if you know a little bit of background context about us and our friendship. So let me just fill you in on that. So we are all from the UK, we're all British, but we all live in France, and we have done for, Amber's been living in France for longer than the two of us. Anyway, we all live in France and we're British. We all have French partners. And we have kids who speak both French and English. And the three of us know each other from doing stand-up comedy in English in Paris. That's really how we met. Paul is a professional stand-up comedian, whereas Amber and I, we are unprofessional stand-up comedians. I mean, Paul does one-man shows. He tours them around France and the French-speaking world. They are often bilingual shows where he performs in French and in English. Amber and I do stand up, but not to the same level that Paul does. What else? Amber, her background, she studied theatre studies at clown school in Paris. Yeah, clown school, and that's not even a joke. That's a real thing. She did clown school for something like 4 years. So she has a background in theatre studies, but these days she's a voiceover artist and a tour guide in Paris. She also does a podcast called Pan Am Podcast, which is about the history of Paris. And she has read a lot of books and knows loads of things about loads of stuff. Back to Paul. He used to work for Apple. But he quit his job when he decided to go full-time as a stand-up comedian. And everybody laughed when they heard that he was quitting his job and to become a stand-up comedian. Everyone laughed. But they're not laughing now, everyone. Haha, that was a joke. Okay, we're right. Anyway, the point of the conversation is that you can enjoy listening to a fun conversation in English. This was recorded early in January, just after Christmas. The topics include running and fitness, falling out of bed, battery issues with my phone that I was using to record the video version of this. The battery kept running down. It was low during the whole recording, which lends an element of drama and suspense to the entire episode. We talk about microphones and why we choose to record with handheld microphones, why we hold the microphones in our hands, which is a question that sometimes comes up when people watch these video episodes. If you indeed watch the video versions. If you're listening, then that's not really an issue for you, is it? We talk about our Christmas holidays, the food that we ate, including the fact that there are like so many different types of chicken available in the supermarkets in France for some reason. We talk about family dynamics at Christmas time. What's it like spending Christmas with different family members? We talk about Paul's Christmas rat story. You got to check that out. That's an incredible story. A Christmas rat. Yes, a rat. The little animals. Amber gives us some insights about the lives of urban pigeons living in Paris. We talk about how our kids speak English and more. So that's what you can expect. And I'm going to stop this introduction in just a second. I just wanted to say, premium subscribers, hello. Premium episodes are coming. I'm working on that, and you'll get some premium content coming soon. All right. Now, that's enough of an introduction. Let's now get started, and let's join Amber and Paul and me from a few weeks ago. And here we go. Amber and Paul are on the podcast. Hello, guys.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi there. I have to do the jingle first.
Go on then.
Yeah, okay, I've got to play the jingle.
Oh, because you do it live, don't you? I keep forgetting that you do that live, as opposed to just adding it in afterwards.
Yeah.
Minimal work possible with Luke. It's just like, I'll just do it all live.
That's because he's got to get them out.
That's right.
He's
Got
a machine.
Keep pumping out the podcasts. Here we go.
Oi.
Of course, it's coming out of the wrong flipping place because I didn't click on that and click on that and then click on that and then. Okay, here we go. Pause.
Amber and Paul are on the podcast. Amber and Paul are on the podcast. Amber and Paul are on the podcast. Amber and Paul are on another podcast. Paul's a very funny boy. His laugh I very much enjoy. Amber's got a lovely voice. If I could choose an accent, hers will be my choice. Yeah.
Okay. Hello, guys. Welcome back.
Hi. My laugh will not be in operation today.
Your laugh will not be in operation today
because I'm recovering from something that I was in bed with for a few days last week.
Your wife or?
Wait.
No, what?
Like, I don't know, some sort of flu thing, something. So every time I'm going to laugh, I will end up coughing.
Right, like Keith Richards.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that what happens?
Yeah, he kind of talks and then tells a story and laughs and then ends up coughing up his lungs. And he's still alive. I don't know how.
We need to not make Paul laugh. That will have to be our aim. It's very difficult, though.
Strike one.
Okay.
1 point to Luke and Amber.
Okay. No, I'm not trying to make him laugh. I care about Paul. I don't want him to cough and be sick.
Yeah.
But it's just tempting.
I'm just going to put my angry face on.
Yeah.
That way I won't laugh.
Be very serious all for the entire episode.
So hello, listeners.
Hello, everybody. Paul, what's the situation?
Situation is, it is the 10th of January, and it is grey, cold. We're in the podcastle. We've just had a nice cup of coffee, chatted about things that we can't chat about on the podcast.
Yeah.
It's I was going to say it's the first time we're seeing each other in 2025, which it is.
This is true.
Me and Amber saw each other on day one in 2025.
Really?
Yeah, we brought Louise over to play a play date with Amber's kids.
Okay.
And that was the last glass of champagne that I've had. So I've been sober for 9 days again.
You're dry.
I'm dry.
Because you're training.
I am training, yeah.
What, again?
Yeah.
Again.
You're going to do...
For another marathon.
Oh, God.
What's wrong with him?
I don't know.
What's wrong with him? He just loves the punishment.
It's apparently, yeah.
Well, because
it's your leg all right and everything.
Yeah, my legs are fine now. It's just now. I mean, I should be training now, but I don't want to push it too much. Yeah, I just wanted to. I don't know when the last time I spoke to your listeners.
It was episode 900, I think, around what sort of September time.
So it was after I did the marathon.
After you talked about doing the marathon, about the Olympics.
Okay, so it was since then it's just kind of like I've wanted to do a marathon but uninjured, just to see what it's like, because I didn't feel like I was exerting myself physically. I was dealing with a physical pain, but it wasn't like an unsurmountable fitness thing where I'm like, oh God, I can't do this because whatever. So I want to see what what I'm capable of when I'm not injured. So I was like, I'll sign up for another one.
Okay.
Well, when Paul came over, so me and my sister's been here for a month, and we have been training for a 5k, and it was really funny because we've been using you as an example to Nico for like a while.
Wait, you've been making your husband feel bad?
No. I mean, yeah, obviously.
But not because of this.
Not because of this. No, because basically, so me and my sister, we like been going running, and we were talking about, we're going running, we go the same place and stuff like that. And then Paul said, maybe I could come with you, because we were planning on going the next day. And we were like, yeah, maybe, which obviously meant no, absolutely not, because we don't want to go with you. We don't.
This is a British no.
This was
just like yeah, maybe you could come, I suppose.
We gave a British no, because we'd been talking quite a lot about running. So we gave a British no, which was like, yes, you can come, and you understood it meant no, because then when you said goodbye to us, you said to my sister, see you sometime, maybe if you come to a show in England, clearly understanding not going to see you running because you said no, because we can't train for 5k and him train for 42k in the same space. It's embarrassing.
No,
you can do it, because then it just means I would, because the the thing that I learned from training is that most of it should not be fast. So
it would not be fast.
I know, but
it'd be very slow.
Good. It helps. It helps build a. I can't remember the sporting term for it, but some sort of level of fitness is the best way to do it is to not run fast.
How many?
And the running fast it helps build something else.
A certain type of muscle fibers or something like that?
It's endurance versus
speed.
Yeah, something like that.
How far do you go when you just go for a regular run?
Well, the one I went on before, because I did go the next day.
Yeah.
And this was the day before I fell in my bed and didn't get out of it for 3 days. I went for just a 3K.
Wait.
Just 3K? We could have done that. We did 5.
You fell in your bed? How do you fall in your bed?
No, I meant like I fell sick and into my bed and didn't wake up.
I thought you were like in your bed and whoops, which is impossible.
Yeah, that would be funny.
Yeah.
I've fallen out of bed.
Have you?
Yeah.
How many times have you fallen out of bed?
What, recently?
No, but more than I can remember, because usually it's when I was drunk and when I was staying in a hotel and it wasn't my bed, but I thought, because, you know, I don't know, do you always sleep on the same side?
Always.
What, you mean if we go to a different place?
Well, at home.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Do you ever switch?
No, we don't, no.
We're not animals.
No,
What, who would do that?
I don't know.
I've got all my bits my side.
What kind of bits have you got on the side?
Well, I've got my light, I've got my hand cream, I've got, anything.
But do you not ever switch it over? Do you not ever switch over for, you go, okay, well, I'm like...
When I was pregnant.
Okay.
Because I had to sleep on the other side, because you're meant to sleep on one side, not the other.
Yeah, right.
But it felt alien.
We don't either, but I've seen people that do switch stuff. Anyway, but when I'm in a hotel, I won't even think about the side that I sleep in. I think I sleep on the side that's nearest the sockets, or nearest the one light switch that turns everything off. Because weirdly in a hotel, you've got one side where there's a light switch that only switches your little lamp off, and on the other person's side, it switches the entire room
So
off.
one person has total control.
Exactly.
And the other person is just like, I've got this one little light switch, and then the other person's like, I control everything.
Yeah,
it's like a relationship, basically,
It is.
more or less.
But when you're on your own in a hotel room, you want the total control one. So I don't know which side of the bed, but sometimes it's the wrong side of the bed.
Yeah.
And because I'm used to turning around in a certain way in my own bed, sometimes when I used to drink a lot and find myself drunk on my own, I'd turn the wrong way and just fall out of the bed.
And you would wake up immediately, or you'd just be awake in the morning?
I think so.
Because my daughter sometimes will fall out of bed and she'll just continue sleeping, and I'll go in there and I'll find her on the floor, or like, what was that noise? Did you hear that?
Yeah, it was a little...
I did.
Oh, my phone's got 20% battery remaining.
Uh-oh.
Well, it's being charged, so that should be okay, shouldn't it, Paul Taylor, who used to work
it's
for
not
Apple?
an iPhone, is it?
It is. Is it? It's an iPhone X.
Oh. Yeah, it should be fine. I don't know why it's... I don't know why it's...
Is it plugged in?
It's plugged in. Look, it's plugged in here.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway. So, all right, falling out of bed, but you didn't fall out of bed. We were talking about running. You were talking about running. 3K, 5K.
Mm-hmm.
We've been aiming for 5K. It takes me a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Very long time.
Have you gotten up to 5K yet?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So the couch to 5K has been achieved.
Yeah, but not as the Couch to 5K app would like it.
No, because the Couch to 5K app wants you to have a 5K race at the end of it, I imagine.
It wants you to just run continually for like 35 minutes. That's the sort of...
Oh, okay.
It thinks in 35 minutes plus 5-minute walk, warm up and cool down.
Right.
Which is, 45 minutes. You're gonna go 5K. But we like a run walk approach.
Okay.
That's what we like.
Run, walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We like a little walk break.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Okay.
Yeah, we did so the other reason I was excited about the marathon, just to finish on that, was because I did my first race in December where I wasn't injured. It was a 10K. And it just felt like getting off stage in front of an audience that has just understood everything that you do, and it just go, that was outrageous. That was like, the feeling was so good. I was like, finally, after a year of starting running and of doing races and of being injured and all this I finally got the runner's high that everyone talks about.
Yeah.
And so I did like a 10K in, I think it was like 49 minutes. And
it's fast. That's fast.
Is it?
It's not bad.
It is fast because they sort of like, I think about 55 minutes is considered quite a good time for 10K. For like, someone who's kind of fit, they're okay. Of course there's people which can do 10K in half an hour, or OVs, but like if you can do it under an hour, that's actually a really good speed. So doing it
I think the average of everyone that's running on the planet, because the statistics, whatever, I think the average is like 57 minutes or something like that.
So you're better than most other humans.
Yes.
Yeah.
With 49 minutes.
Yeah.
So I was very happy with that, and I was like, right, I'm doing the marathon, let's go.
Yeah.
All right, wow.
He's built for running. He's built for speed.
Speed and endurance.
And beer belly still.
Have you?
Yeah.
Hardly.
What, still got a beer belly?
Did you drink during the Christmas break?
Oh, I didn't not drink
You didn't not drink, so you drank.
for like 3 weeks solid, basically.
Okay. So you need to get back in training.
And so that's why we had a cheeky bottle of champagne on
We
New
had
Year's
two.
Day.
Well, yeah.
Did we have two?
We had a bottle of Carver.
It was
Did Amber
for
get
adults.
drunk?
No,
it wasn't
I
like
was very restrained.
it wasn't
Okay.
like the last time.
That was funny. Last time we all got
I'm going to
together.
draw a veil over that because I don't think I was actually there. I don't remember anything.
Don't
so
you really?
Between
I think that I
Amber
was not there.
and her son thieving, conniving. I think we talked about that.
that before.
But no, we it was just.
It's my daughter's turn to shame
It
herself
was
at
five,
your
we were
house.
5 adults though, so 2 bottles between 5 adults is all right.
Yeah.
all right,
We
yeah,
mixed it
it's-
with orange juice.
New Year's Day.
Oh yeah,
We
it
had
was. It was mimosas.
mimosas.
Okay, yeah, so fine.
It's fine.
Fine.
It's fine. So, Amber and Paul are on the podcast. Thanks so much for coming back and being guests again.
Thanks for having us back, and
Yeah.
thanks for maintaining this podcast alive.
Yeah, well.
I feel like it's the one constant, apart from maybe seeing each other on stand-up shows.
Yeah.
It's the one constant, because when we see each other on stand-up shows, there's other people there.
Yeah.
But it's like the one constant for, 12 years now?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
we've known each other? 2013.
Yeah, we've known each other since 2013.
Yeah.
2012, 2013. And I think you both came on the podcast maybe a year or so after that.
Yeah.
You know,
It was
so
early days, that we got on the podcast.
you were pregnant with Hugo at the time. So we've been doing this for, over a decade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how many times you've been on the podcast now. It's
Loads.
possibly even getting on for 100 times.
Really?
It's over 50.
It's over 50,
Yeah,
really?
definitely,
I
yeah.
wouldn't have said 50.
A lot of the
Well, sometimes we do a double pod, don't we?
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
it's
2 for
50
1.
We
episodes.
do one recording,
that's true.
double pod.
Yeah, I mean, there's
true.
been we've done a lot of episodes together. You two are frequently named by listeners as among their favourite guests, along with my family members. So people talk about members of the family and you two as well. So my question is, what do you think the appeal is? Why do people enjoy listening to our tangential nonsense? What's the appeal?
I think it's the same reason I love TikTok. And a random person comes on and they're just like, oh, I was on the bus and I heard this woman complaining, and I'm like, tell me more. I don't know these people. I don't know anything about it. I'm invested. And
Yeah,
you hear people. It's like lots of podcasts you listen to for a long time. You sort of get to know the people, and they just become a part of your life too.
Yeah. And because Paul's a very funny boy, his laugh I very much enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Except today.
Except for today, Amber's got a lovely voice. If I could choose an accent, hers would be my choice.
Well, your listeners actually,
Yeah.
because it goes both ways. When I first started going on the podcast, I'd started doing voiceover, but I didn't think I was very good at it. I was like, I just happened to be in the right place at the right time, and they needed an anglophone. And then everyone kept saying, oh, your voice is so nice. I thought maybe I should do more voiceover.
Yeah.
Gave me confidence.
Okay, and now
It was a boost.
Now she's installed a recording studio
Yeah.
booth in your own house, and
Yeah.
you're making sweet cash.
Sweet money. Yeah.
I needed to add something about the fact that we are holding microphones. We are using, listeners and video viewers, we're using handheld dynamic microphones, the ones that you see being used by stand-up comedians, and they are not in microphone stands. And I'm mentioning this because there's always one person who watches the video version, who comments about the fact that we are holding microphones. So, and I've asked you this before, but I'm going to ask you again. Do you mind holding the microphones during the recording? Do you mind?
Have you asked this before?
I have asked you that before, very briefly in the past. I'm doing it again now. You don't remember?
I feel like here's when you started. Hold on, no, but it's funny because when you started talking and you were like reading off your phone there, and you were like, "Oh, I have to do mention with we are holding microphones. I thought you were going to go, and this episode is sponsored by Rode microphones.
Unfortunately not. Although any microphone. Actually, I did get sent a couple of microphones by SE Electronics in the past. Great. These aren't SE Electronics.
Well, you can't really do a stand when there's three of us. There's no space to have. When you do it on your own, you have the little arm, right?
I do.
But you've got a second one here.
I've got a second one here, but I don't have a third one. But does it bother you? This is the question. Does it bother you to be holding the microphone in your hand?
It seems like a trick question for some reason.
It's not a trick question at all. It's a straight question dealing with a common doubt or a common even criticism, I would say.
Oh, because people think that it's difficult for us. Oh, but we do this as a living. This is our job, to be on stage and hold a microphone like that. I mean, our job. It's one of our jobs.
Yeah, definitely you. Yeah.
Yeah, I pretend to.
Exactly the same response you had last time I asked you that question, which was a few years ago in this very room.
I don't remember.
You said, "Yeah, it's no problem. This is our job, or at least my job." So people ask that because they think it must get tiring. It's they can't understand why we don't have them in stands, and they imagine that this is really difficult for us.
Okay,
but is it?
I think they're throwing shade.
Throwing shade on
the English, like we're so feeble that even this sort of paltry microphone is too much for our sort of arms. No, it's no bother.
It's not a problem at all, is it? In fact, in my experience, it for recording a podcast, it's better. And in many ways, it's better.
Well, because when it's freestanding, you can you talk a bit like this, and then and the microphone's not moving with you, but your arm we're more attentive to keep it close to our mouths.
Yeah, like if we were on microphone stands, and then suddenly I was like, "What's this thing back here? Is this a book?" I'd be like, "Oh, the book's over here. Yeah, this book here." Whereas if you're holding a handheld, I can just bring the handheld with me and go, "This is Robin Ince. I'm a joke, and so are you. That's a great book." Do you know what I mean? Whereas if I was doing that on a stand here, I'd be like, "Oh, Luke, this book. I'm a joke. Tell me more about this one, Luke."
Absolutely.
See? Yeah, exactly. So it actually results in
better quality
audio, and having microphones in stands is actually more uncomfortable. People imagine that holding them is uncomfortable, but it's more uncomfortable to have a microphone in a stand when you're recording for about an hour, because the microphone is in one position. You have to be in one position. So you get a pain in your neck, your back gets stiff because you're stuck in one position. But when it's in your hand, you can move around and you get that freedom, and it's actually more comfortable. So it's more comfortable for us. You get a better sound for you. Why
do we not have lapel mics then, which would free our hands?
Still not as good sound though, a lapel mic. They need to be really quite a fancy lapel mic before it's going to match this.
Agreed.
Because I imagine that might be a question that comes up if people have been asking, like, well, all right, cool, you're talking about these mics, but what about the ones that you see on a TV show?
Lavalier mics.
But then they have both. They'll have a lapel mic and they'll have a boom. Sound is so important. Like, it's so key. I mean, if I'm doing a voiceover, of course it's fixed, but then I'm fixed and I'm just reading stuff off of a screen, so you can kind of move but you're always in the same place. But these are much better for, I mean, like stand up, there are a few comedians who put the mic still and they don't hold it. There are a few, but it's a very particular type of comedy. What's her name, the French comedian Blanche. It was Blanche. I was like, Charlotte? No, Blanche. She does that, and so she's got this very centered sort of style of performing, but it's unusual.
She stands perfectly still, and you couldn't imagine someone like Lee Evans having the microphone in the stand because he's so mobile.
Most
he
comedians.
doesn't even have one of these. He has a
Britney Spears, Madonna, Britney Spears kind of thing.
Like Michael McIntyre, stuff like that, who move around a lot. But that's like the other extreme. Most people are just sort of moving naturally. They need a mic.
And in stand-up, I find that having a mic in my hand allows me I can use the mic position to get closer to the microphone sometimes. If you let her go, no, that'll be the end of it. That sort of thing. You can sort of deliver punchlines a bit better by speaking into the microphone. So that's that.
Well, Paul does that as well, because he does quite like a shouty delivery.
Yes.
And so sometimes he'll take it away and just give that kind of like off mic shoutiness, and it's really fun because you are playing with sound. You've got a lot more control. We all agree.
There's a comedian that did an imitation of somebody falling out of a helicopter and just being like. And like pulling the microphone away from his mouth while he's on stage is very good.
Mic technique.
Yeah,
that's
the Frank Sinatra.
The Frank Sinatra.
He was all.
Oh yeah, really? Did he use the microphone? I didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, guys, as you said, it's January. The weather's terrible. You're both dressed in black, and I'm in blue, which was sort of black and blue. I missed the email. I should have worn black as well.
Well, last time you both wore black.
Yeah. One of these days we'll all end up wearing black or something. But anyway, Christmas. How was your Christmas/New Year? We heard about your New Year's Day. What about your Christmas?
Christmas was great.
Yeah, because?
Yeah. My sister was here, and so we were all together, and my in-laws came. And usually we're quite mean. We do like a bingo of my in-laws' most annoying habits.
Your in-laws are French, right?
They're French.
Yeah,
so my partners, my husband's parents.
Yeah. So you do a bingo for things they will say. Can you explain?
You know how like when someone does really annoying things, but you've got to see them. And so instead of being like, oh my God, I hate that, you put it on a bingo card.
Yeah.
So like, you know, my mother-in-law will make some sort of snide comment about like tea towels, you know, about how, you know, or like napkins or something like that. And or she'll like tell like a sob story.
What, she'll make a comment about how clean they are, or what?
It could be a whole array of snide comments she might have about my tea towels.
Yeah.
Then she'll tell a sort of sob story from her youth, you know, how she never had Christmas, she was working on the farm, you know, kind of things like this. You know, basically my children are indulged.
Okay.
They'll buy gifts that no one wants. She'll make a big deal about if she's used new wrapping paper rather than recycled wrapping paper, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then my father-in-law will repeat a story we've all heard like for the 100th time, like at least more than once in that same evening.
Yeah.
You know, he'll back up some sort of spurious argument he's got with science that that he's made up. You know, he's just making stuff up, and like it gets annoying, right? Or like I'll do something, I'll be snidey to my, you know, I'm on the bingo card too. I'll be mean to him, but I'll do it in a way that he's not quite understood, so he kind of can't come back at me. Then, you know, the kids are on it, so everyone
you've got a family bingo card of an annoying behaviour that you all do, and you've got different bingo cards with different annoying behaviour, or it's just that you have to try and notice and
who's playing the bingo? Just you and Nico?
Okay.
You and your husband.
Nico's on the bingo card. He's going to go off for a nap at one point, and like
yeah.
So like we're all on the bingo card, like we recognise our own faults, right? So we made the bingo card as always, and then because my sister was there and she doesn't speak French, or not really well, my in-laws were speaking in English, and they were so charming in English.
Really?
They were so much more sweet, and because maybe they were speaking in English, they were reminiscing a lot about like the travels they'd done before they'd had Nico. And one of these big travels they did was like to New York, and they travelled all around the States, and they were living in New York in the 70s.
Yeah.
And of course it sounded wild, like New York, Manhattan in the 70s.
Yeah.
They don't speak English. She's working in this like French restaurant, he's doing something out. She comes home and all the money's in tips. They're taking Greyhound buses around. They have to go to Harlem in the 70s to get some sort of visa extension, and
Yeah.
so they're kind of living these really fun stories, and of course they sound really delightful because you know they've got these French accents. Oh, we were there, it was so much fun, you know. And I was like, this is only ever speak English. So they were delightful. The food was delicious because I was like, no more sea insects because I hate that.
Because that's the thing the French do. They eat shellfish, lots of
Disgusting
prawns, and sea insects, as you say.
sea insects. Yeah.
Okay. But
So
you didn't have that then.
No, I was like, no sea insects. So we had like nice food, and they were funny, and and it was good. It was really good.
Fantastic.
We had a great time.
Really good. Yeah. We had a similar experience. We didn't go to my parents this
Yours
this
always
time.
sounds fun.
Well, we didn't go to my parents this time. We gave them a year off just to recover from all the other Christmases where my mum has to do all the work, and plus, you know, we've got like, you know, an 18-month-old who exhausts everyone at the moment. So we just gave them a week off, and we went to rented a place in Normandy, and went there
Christmas Day
for 5 days over Christmas.
lovely.
Oh, and they came over.
No, they didn't. It was just
you guys.
us and a friend of ours, and we just hung out there, went to the seaside, walked along the beach and stuff. It was great.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, really good. Had a really good Christmas meal. Ate far too much.
What did you eat?
It was a chapon.
Yeah.
Right, a kind of chicken, sort of.
Yeah,
Capon, a kind of poultry, like a big chicken.
It's funny
like a
how
male chicken.
Is it a male chicken?
Is it like a rooster?
cockerel?
Is it like a sort of? They have that in Game
cock.
of Thrones.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
A capon.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, of course they have medieval. What
Medieval feet.
Well, it's just funny. Like, I find it funny that in a French supermarket, certain things come out in certain times of the year.
Yeah.
You know, like you go out now and try and find a chapon. You won't find one anywhere.
Christmas, the Yuletide period is a terrible time to be a bird in France, isn't it? I mean, either you're going to get your head chopped off and eaten, or you're going to get fed until your liver explodes.
Oh yeah.
Those poor
But you have
birds.
there's like 5 different types of we were at the supermarket getting the chicken for our Christmas dinner because there's only 3 of us. 1, 2, 3, adults. My mum, and my wife and I. And I was just like, we'll just get a chicken. And I went to the chicken fridge, and there was like 5 different words for poultry that were just different sizes. I was like, I know chicken and turkey.
Yeah.
I didn't know any of the 3 other things.
Wait, but they're also all kind of like different types of chicken, aren't they?
They are. They're all the same.
I mean, you could imagine there would be chicken, duck, turkey and goose, maybe, if it was like a special supermarket.
Oh, of course,
but you're talking about all these different types of chicken.
Yeah.
Right.
Basically.
So big chicken, small chicken, farm bred chicken,
medium chicken.
chicken.
And they've all got different names. It's not just small, medium, large. It's chapon.
Yeah.
I can't remember them now.
Poulet fermier, poulet.
No, but that's all right.
No, but they've got different. It's different.
Actually
to
got different
poulets.
names, but because I looked it up, on word reference for the translation, and
Yeah.
it was like, it's a male
That's a
thing. I'm
chapon.
like, well, it's just a fucking chicken then. What are you talking about?
Big
anyway,
chicken,
yeah.
Okay. So how was your Christmas though, Paul?
Well, so my mum was over, and it was gonna be chill. The day before Christmas Eve, we had my friend Jay Swanson, American, round
On the 23rd?
24th.
24th, Christmas
He
Eve.
came around for Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And we had a good time. I cooked some sea insect, some scallops.
Yeah.
And it was
scallops of Saint Jack.
the nuts of Saint Jack.
Saint Jack's nuts.
St. Jack's nuts, exactly.
Yeah. Delicious.
And then I think he left about 1 a.m, and so we were, at 1 a.m, we were right. It's time to get the presents out, put them under the tree.
Yeah.
Bite some of the carrot, eat some of the biscuits, drink the milk, put the presents under the thing, write a little card from Santa so that the next morning when Louise wakes up, Daddy Christmas has been with the reindeers and
So
stuff.
gaslighting your daughter in the traditional way.
Exactly.
Just convincing her that this Father Christmas. Just side question: does she still believe in Father Christmas?
Yes,
She's 5.
She's 5.
we think this might be the last year, though.
My daughter was over it, I think, by 5/6. Yeah, she's still cotton on to it.
We took a little video in bed the night before, just the 3 of us being like, "Oh, Daddy Christmas is coming." My wife's like, "Why are you doing this video?" I'm just like, "Oh, you're excited." And then when my wife and I walked out, I'm like, "I just took the video because I think this is the last one." Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, we started doing the stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm upstairs bringing down or getting some of the presents ready, and I hear my wife like scream and calling me down like, Paul, viens, y a quelqu'un, there's somebody in the house. I'm like, what the hell? So I like leg
Father
it down.
Christmas.
Yeah,
It's like, yeah, of course there's someone in the house. It's Christmas Eve.
So I run down the stairs, and there's a rat, a massive rat,
A Christmas rat.
a Christmas
Oh
rat.
my God.
in like stuck behind the radiator of the front door of the house. So the noise was coming from the front door, so my wife thought somebody was trying to get into the front door, but then we saw that the cat was like snooping about behind the thing, and there's this massive rat behind the radiator.
Stuck behind the radiator?
Stuck as in he's not wanting to
he's like
come out.
hiding behind
and the radiator is like it's like one of these ones.
A heater, right?
No, but it's like imagine this being stuck to the if you're listening to this, it's an old radiator that has gaps between the heating elements,
Like an oil-filled radiator which has got gaps between each part.
So but this is stuck to the wall. It's not like an independent heater. And so the rat is behind the thing, so we can see it through the radiator, but we can't access it, right? And we're like, okay, well, what are we doing? Like, we're just at first, it's like 2:00 in the morning at this point. We're like, all right, well, let's see what the cat does.
Yeah, because that's the cat's job, isn't it? It's like, right, this is it. This is your moment to prove
so
your worth.
The cat's looking around, trying to grab it and trying to figure out something. He's not really doing much.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so then, you start like tapping the radiator to make some noise to see if all the while we've opened the front door that's next to the radiator, so to see if he wants to get out.
Yeah.
And nothing. It's just like we're sitting there for 20 minutes just going, what do we do? Okay, we're trying to figure out things. We're trying to find objects in the house that we can poke the rat through the gaps in the radiators to get him to move.
Yeah.
But then also we're like, well, if he then starts running inside the house, so we're trying to barricade off the corridor with Louise's gym mats. Like the IKEA foldable gym mats.
Yeah.
So we've created a barrier so we're trying to trying to figure out a way to get the and the mouse starts going back and forth.
Mouse or rat?
Sorry, the rat.
Yeah.
It's trying to go back and forth. The cat doesn't know what. The cat's like half scared. We're like, you're an idiot. What are you doing? Like, it's half your. Kill it. Just take it and or just. What are you doing?
Does your cat normally deal with rodents of any?
He brought in a bird 2 days ago.
Okay.
He's brought in mice. He killed a pigeon, which was much bigger than this.
All right. Fair dues.
So we're like, what are you doing?
But this is a rat, though. This is serious.
Yeah, apparently
it's a whole different kettle of fish.
We don't know what to do at some point, and then it starts going because the cat sort of whatever, and it just starts making this ungodly noise. I don't know if you've heard a rat cry. It's just like. And it's like it's so agonising. Like, this poor little thing.
Oh.
So well, let's lure it out with some cheese. So we got those little soft cheese for kids. The little cubes, the apéritifs that we have here, the little flavoured soft cheese.
Yeah.
We put it out in front of the radiator, just waiting to see what would happen. And the cat went and ate the fucking cheese.
Oh my god!
So now it's getting really late. It's like 3:30 in the morning. We know we're going to be up in 3 or 4 hours. We need to get this fucking rat out. So I decide to go into the garden and get the garden hose.
Yeah.
Drag it through the house to hose the radiator with water.
Yeah.
Is your door open? The front door?
The front door's open.
Because it's cold. Like, it's the middle of the night, it's cold, and you're, about to flood your flat.
Another question.
Yeah.
Not that this is the lying game. This is real.
Yeah.
How did it get in? Do you know?
We don't know. We still don't know. And that's I think it might have been because Jay, when he was leaving, the Uber cancelled a couple of times. So we were in and out of the door. And that's the only thing we can... We hope that's how we got in.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to hose him out.
Really, you're spraying water in your own home?
Yeah, like a fireman. Like when they're at protests and they're trying to hose the protesters.
Yeah,
water cannon. He's water cannoning.
I'm walking inside my house, so the house is now flooded.
Oh god!
The rat hasn't fucking moved. He's holding on for dear life behind.
Is the radiator on as well? Is it warm?
Yeah.
So the rat's like, actually, no, this is fine. I think I'm fine here.
So I'm tired. We're also drunk. I'm drunk, tired, anticipating the hangover and the no sleep the next day.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm killing it now. I don't care.
Yeah.
I need to find something to stab this little shit because so the only thing I could find was an umbrella.
Oh my god!
The most English thing ever. So I got the umbrella out, and I'm because I know if I poke it and I miss it, it's gonna scurry, right?
Yeah.
So I get it, but I get it in the wrong, just in its side, and I just hear it going.
Oh no! Oh, poor
thing.
And
I'm just holding it there. The cat's losing his mind. He's he legs it. He's even more scared.
Oh no!
And then I let go for a second, and then it sort of scurries around. I'm like, oh god, that didn't work.
Yeah.
I need to go for the head. It needs to be a headshot, and it needs to be hard. Right.
Oh god, the poor little thing.
So
I understand the desperate times need desperate measures.
It's 4 o'clock in the morning by this point. And so I get the umbrella and I get his head's in the perfect spot.
Yeah.
And I go, pa! Miss the rat, snap the umbrella into.
Oh, no. Oh god, I thought you were going to say the rat grabs the umbrella or something, like super rats.
Yeah.
Maybe you did.
He might have done.
Yeah.
And then I don't know how I can't even remember how we got him out in the end. He at some point he ended up in a little thing, and I managed to scurry him out, and then he ended up going out the front door eventually. But it was 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
So our Christmas day was horrific.
Yeah.
It was no sleep. My mum was there. She hadn't. I mean, she had slept normally, but she doesn't like getting up at 7 a.m, right? She's 77 years old, so when you're that old, you want to sleep in for a little bit. So we opened the presents. We were like, oh, he's been. Louise has no idea what happened.
Santa came all right and tried to stab him in the head with an umbrella.
So Christmas Day wasn't great. The rest of it was very tranquil and chilled out. But that was
God
a Christmas Day to remember and forget.
It's terrifying. Rats.
Oh, it was horrific. And now, like yesterday, I left the house and I had it was raining a little bit, but my jacket had, like some more water on it. I'm like, that's weird. It's like oil or something. I must have brushed past a car or tree sap. So I smell it. I'm like, oh God, that is horrific. I'm like, what is that? And when I get home after a day out, I asked my wife, I'm like, smell that. What do you think it is? She goes, I think that's cat piss. I'm like, what? And I think it's like cat when they do when they spray for marking their territory.
Marking their territory.
And I'm like, oh God. And so
what cat spraying your
hours in the house, because I think because of the rat and the rat smell is still around. He's decided to piss up the wall and piss up.
Maybe he's warning other rats, don't come here.
Yeah.
Maybe that was an unfortunate incident for your coat.
It's like the whole house stinks of cat urine now.
Isn't your cat
an asshole? Yes, he is.
I mean, but
he's a French cat. He's fucking useless.
But didn't you?
He doesn't do his job properly. We did neuter him, of course.
And he's still spraying.
He's still spraying.
Well, maybe he's protecting you from future rat.
It could also be because we took away his bird that he brought in. And I was like, no, you're not bringing in a dead bird into this house.
Don't they bring the birds for you, though?
That's a gift for you. No, it was a mark of respect, showing his respect.
Apparently that's because we read up about it in the last couple of days, because we were like, we need to figure out what's going on here. Apparently they bring it back in because it's the comfortable place where they know that they're safe and they can eat it safely without being
I was going to say, if they bring in a mouse, that's a gift. If they bring in a bird, that's an insult to you. According to the law of the cat world. Why? Like a bird is like a big insult. I don't know. I'm just making it up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's like a big.
I was following you. I was like, oh, really?
Cute little bird as well, like a little blue.
A blue tit or something. Was it?
It's a something blue tit. I can't remember what it's called.
Like the one on the wall behind you there.
Oh yeah, a little
something
bit
like that.
Yeah,
blue tit.
Yeah, and obviously, it's good because also our daughter's not so traumatized about death. Because she sees the cat killing stuff and she's like, oh, the animal's dead. With zero emotion. We were talking about...
That's not my experience. Our cat killed a mouse, which is kind of why we got her to kill mice, because we had mice. She killed this mouse. She left it on the mat of our door. And then my daughter was really upset. And then we had to write a message to warn the other mice and leave it out, be careful, there's a cat, don't come around. So now
you wrote that in English.
Yeah, the mice, they can read.
So the first of all, the mice in Montreuil speak English.
Yeah, absolutely.
They can read English.
She illustrated it to help them understand. As we left the note out, subsequently there have been other dead mice, and I have to swoop down on them quickly so she doesn't see them.
No.
Yeah, I used to have a cat when my family lived in the countryside, and the cat was just a voracious hunter, and he would catch squirrels, and you'd see him sometimes.
Squirrels?
Squirrels, rabbits, squirrels. During the day, during the day he was a domesticated normal cat. At night he would turn into beast mode.
Sounds like your son.
Yeah. It's another story for another time. Yeah, God. But the cat would go off and he would be catching rabbits and squirrels. I saw him catch a squirrel once, and he bit its head off.
What?
In front of me.
Oh my
as well.
God.
And you'd sometimes come down in the morning, and on the mat there would just be a tail. Like a rabbit's tail, just the tail, or a little spleen, just like one little organ, just left on the mat, and it's consumed the entire rabbit except for one thing. It's like, oh my God, this is our little fluffy cat whose name was Posy. An absolutely terrifying monster. It was a boy as well. Posy.
Maybe it's Call a Boy Sue. It's
Man Called like that Johnny Cash song.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, great song. Song. Rats. Yeah, I was thinking about rats. I saw a rat on the way to work yesterday.
Did you?
That's Paris.
Yeah, but I was walking to the British Council across Invalides, the Esplanade, and there was just a rat running in front of me. Took a video of it as well. Everything.
Did you?
Yeah. I'll show. Do you want to see the video?
Yeah, of course I want to see the video.
Okay, but like in the town hall, in the Mary, in front of the Mary.
Which town hall?
Our town hall.
Here's the rat.
Oh yeah,
just running along in front of me.
Oh,
listeners, you can't see this, but just imagine a little rat running along.
Not that little.
It's not that little.
It's not that little.
Quite a chunky fella.
Yeah.
Well, in the town hall in front of us, there's like a little bit of it's a little bit green. There's a little bit of space, but like sometimes.
Yes. Sorry. There was another noise. My phone camera has got 10% battery remaining. Why is it struggling so much today?
I don't know. It doesn't seem to be charging. But anyway, so we were there and it was like dusk, so like nightfall, and then that's when the rats come out and they were sort of running around. I can't remember which one of my kids said it, but then they were like, "Oh, can we go and see the rats?" And I thought, "Oh, the urban children, it's so sad. Oh, can we go and watch the rats? Mummy, can we go see the rats having a night when they come out?" Oh, horrible.
It's like
Before it's too late, otherwise we'll miss the rats.
Let's go. We can still catch the rats.
Have you ever had an encounter with a rat in
I used
Paris?
to have pet rats.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they make quite
a good
pets.
Yeah, because they're chunky. They're a chunky rodent, not like a mouse. You can't really play with a mouse. Rat, you can have a nicer play. I don't know. You just see rats all the time, don't you?
You do. Do you want to know some fun facts about rats?
Sure.
They have a very good memory, so that rat will not forget your hospitality.
But will he tell the other rats like crows do?
Well, apparently they're very social animals, especially at Christmas. Which is why this one wanted to come and spend Christmas with the Taylor family.
They enjoy a bit of eggnog.
Yeah. Rats are very suspicious, which is not a surprise, because whenever I see one, I always think, "Oh, what's that rat up to?"
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean suspicious in that way, that they are suspicious of things.
Yeah.
So if you put a trap down, the rat will be like,
Not
don't
quite
think
sure.
so.
Yeah.
So
Did you just look this up now? Or did you have this ready to go?
I may have had this ready to go.
How did you know?
I can add some information to rats.
You mentioned the fact.
Oh, did I mention the rat?
You mentioned the rat thing, but he didn't tell me the story. So
okay.
I had that.
You had it lined up.
Had it lined up. Podcast,
listeners, you've got one of the most professional interviewers on the planet, ladies and gentlemen. Where he's like, don't come with anything prepared. However, he knows the stories. He knows what he knows how to. He knew that was coming.
Yeah.
Pro podcaster. Yeah. You were going to say something, Amber?
Well, I was going to say...
That's why he's got 1 million followers on the wall, mate.
Absolutely.
I mean...
Work.
Got them all pinned to the wall there.
Hard. By their tails.
You need to comment in the comments below just saying Luke's a pro, and we'll see how many...
With a little rat emoji.
Oh, Luke's a pro with a rat emoji in the comments. Go now.
Pod Pro. Rats are very clean and actually hate getting dirty, so they must be very unhappy all the time, right?
Yeah, especially when they're being sprayed with water.
Well,
maybe that was his happiest. It was when he was getting sprayed with.
I suppose it's where the standards are.
Yeah,
like they could be like clean for a rat, can still be covered in feces. Like
this is true.
It's very hard.
Yeah. Rats are colourblind and have very poor eyesight, apparently. So if you do see one, you could safely give it the finger, and you'll be all right. Rats
can't remember what you can't see, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, rats are excellent climbers, jumpers, and swimmers. Apparently, they can jump 70 centimeters, which is about up to the height of a desk.
Oh my god!
And they can jump horizontally about 120 meters. Which is 120 meters lengthways, horizontally, apparently.
No.
120 meters.
Wait a minute.
That can't be right. 120 meters.
120 centimeters.
I was say,
I was like, that's really...
Usain Bolt can't even run 100 meters.
I'm a pro podcaster, yeah. It's 120 centimeters, sorry, that would be ridiculous.
Quite a difference.
That?
We were imagining it, and that's why we were concerned.
Yeah, they can fly, apparently. Something you did already know, rats have sharp teeth. And their teeth are constantly growing, which is quite a terrifying thought.
All rodents.
Yeah, just constantly growing. That's why they have to gnaw on bits of wood and stuff to wear the teeth.
They're like nails. They just keep growing, so they have to cut them down. Yeah. Interesting.
They have an incredible tail function. So great. And there are more than 60 species of rat in the world, unfortunately. And rats breed non-stop, so they're just constantly shagging. constantly shagging each other all the time.
Well, at least someone is.
Part of the yeah.
There is a department of the police which is just dedicated to dealing with pests in Paris, which includes rats and pigeons and cockroaches and any nuisible, any kind of like stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we went to that department to interview the people who were in charge of it. I know, the exciting life I lead.
You went to interview the people in charge of dealing with the rats. For what purpose?
Well, that's a very good question.
Did you already
Luke.
have that list of things brought up?
Sadly, I did not have that list.
Oh, you weren't a pro.
I was not a pro. Yeah.
Was it for Pan Am Podcast?
No.
No.
Oh, it was way before that. So it was when I was in clown school, when I was in theatre school.
Okay.
And we had to do a project where we went to like a sort of secret. We went to something kind of unusual, and we turned it into theatre. So somewhere where people don't usually go.
Okay.
And so we decided to do it about like rats and pests basically. And then we found out that like there's this one woman, so I had friends in the same group, they went and interviewed this woman who like rehabilitates pigeons, so she looks after all the sort of pigeons and like because pigeons
I thought you meant like criminal or drug addicted pigeons.
Also exactly,
rehabilitate them,
get them back into work, like get them off the drugs. Get
them pecking around again.
Don't pigeons, they've lost a little foot.
Pigeons eat in the most stupid way. Have you seen?
Oh, is
it Daniel Kitson? He did a routine about that.
I don't know about Daniel Kitson, but there's this woman on TikTok, and so she says, she's got a whole thing, she's like, come with me for a day in London as a pigeon, as what I eat. And so she's just got like these pigeons, and she'll be like, I started off in the morning with a bit of leftover takeaway, it was delicious with the girls, and it's just these pigeons pecking on this like takeaway, and then like all the sort of like random places that pigeons eat, because it's pretty gross.
But the way they eat is that there's the food on the ground, they go and peck it, and then they throw it over their head. They just throw it right over their head behind themselves.
Do they?
It's the most ridiculous way to eat. Imagine if humans did that. It's like, a bit of fish and chips, lovely. Just eat it and then just throw it all over your head.
Yeah, it's their way of, I think, breaking stuff up.
I've never seen that.
I think it's like if you've got the thing that you like
a piece of bread, let's say, on the floor.
Yeah, and they don't know how to.
They will peck into it and then flick their head back in order to break a part off of it. Yeah. But I also have a feeling that it might be because they're social animals, that it means that the food does get spread around a bit more. So if one of them pecks at the food, it gets flung in the air, and then another one can have a go, and it sort of benefits the group rather than the individual. You don't get one massive pigeon and lots of other little ones. Instead, it sort of spreads the food around a bit. But they're ridiculous birds, aren't they, really?
Well, no.
No?
They're rather majestic, magical birds, aren't they?
Oh, okay then.
I mean, they saved many lives, the pigeons.
Oh, this is true. In World War II?
World War One, I believe, and World War Two. Pigeons are feral, they're not wild. So, we've done them dirty, basically. By abandoning them.
By setting up cities and then allowing them to live in them and get all dirty.
Well, we domesticated pigeons.
Oh.
And then we were like, I don't want pigeons anymore.
But the ones we see flying around, those are still wild, aren't they?
They're wild, but they're a sort of feral animal, so they're not meant to be wild. This is not where they would, kind of live, and they're not very well adapted to it.
No, because their feet go all wrong, don't they? They have you seen that?
Yeah. Do you know why that is?
They get some sort of infection on their feet, don't
it's because... Well, I know this actually.
Go on. Is this what you learned in clown school?
No, I found this out in a book.
Yeah.
In clown school, I learned how they control the rats. They have to block up the holes. Rats are quite dangerous to humans, and they have to put special, because rats can bite through concrete. They can bite through all sorts of stuff, like the sort of sewer rats. And so when they do work in Paris, the rats come up, and that's really dangerous. And so what they do is they have to fill up the holes with concrete, but in the concrete they need to put something like wire or broken glass, so that the rats will cut themselves. And apparently that incites the other rats to eat them.
Oh, I see. So one of the rats bites into the concrete, cuts themselves and bleeds. And the other rats are like, dinner time.
Oh, yeah.
And they feast on...
They're sociable, but they're also... cannibals.
Absolute bastards, aren't they?
God. It's terrifying. I mean, there's rats and rats. There's domestic rats, and there's, obviously sewer rats. They're not the same.
Yeah.
But the pigeons, they lose their feet because...
What? Paul's had a funny look on his face.
I just love how this podcast has gone from how was your Christmas day to now a 45-minute introduction to here are different species of rats and what they do.
It's a bit
and
like
fucking pigeons.
It's a bit like humans, isn't it, really? There's some of them are nice, and some of them are absolute psychotic, murderous maniacs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to finish
Do you
telling
think
you
there's a
about
rap
pigeons.
podcast where they're talking about humans? They've asked themselves, "How's your Christmas day?"
Oh, and
and
one of
then-
them's telling them, "Oh, mate,
Yeah,
it was
these
the
humans,
worst."
and now they're doing. I went to go to this human museum once, and it's just the
One of them
opposite in
just-
another world.
One of them just sprayed me with water. It was ridiculous. I found a really great spot behind this radiator, and these bloody humans started spraying me with water. One of
Yeah.
them tried to poke me in the head with an umbrella.
Yeah. And I just pretended he got me, but in the wrong place, and I just went, "Oh no, please don't hurt me."
Yeah.
Possibly.
Anyway,
So you were about to. Yeah.
Pigeons. So pigeons, they don't hop. And they don't sort of pick up their feet. They sort of shuffle, don't they? If you notice how they walk, they don't hop. They're not like a hopping bird. So they sort of like shuffle around the city. They're such a metaphor, aren't they, pigeons? And what happens is they get little bits of hair, usually, wrapped around their feet. So especially if you go around Chateau Rouge, where there's lots of like hair salons,
Yeah.
none of the pigeons have feet, and that they get that, and it winds around their little foot like more and more and more,
Yeah.
and it cuts off the circulation, and essentially that's how they lose their feet. Of course it can be infection, stuff like that, but that's the main reason.
Wow.
I know.
That's an interesting fact.
Yeah, just at my fingertips.
Human hair in cities just chops off pigeons' feet. Poor pigeons, honestly. What a life.
pigeoni.
Well, I don't know where to go from here.
Well, we can have a segue, because I was keen to hear about your jumper.
Yeah, that's right. Can I just say?
Oh.
So Paul is wearing a rather fetching,
Very nice jumper.
black sweater. Amber, do you want to describe the sweater?
He's wearing a lovely jumper. I know the brand. It's Saint James, a French brand. They use wool. They're quite a sort of high neck, because I did buy one for
It's high neck, and the shoulders are a little bit
structured.
structured. So it makes. I think that's why it makes it look. It's very. They're known in France for the stereotypical French
The
top,
stripy.
the marinière, the stripy top,
Yeah.
which is
Maritime. thing.
maritime. I do look a bit like the cut makes me look like
A sailor.
I'm about
Yeah.
to go on a boat.
So this St. James brand, yeah, they do make
I think
clothing.
haven't even got a boat on their logo.
No,
They
they're classier than that.
They are based
Pretty
in
better.
Brittany, I believe. I think, or on the coast. Normandy, Brittany, on the coast.
Is there not a boat somewhere?
No, there's no boat.
No boat. You're
No,
thinking
that's
of Petit Bateau.
Little boat, literally.
There's kids' clothes.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they make clothing which is for sort of sailors. That's the vibe they're
That's
going
it,
for.
sailor. That was the word I was looking for from the
Sailors.
beginning.
So it's the sort of sweater that you could imagine someone on a sailboat wearing. It's
But they're just really nice quality, and they always look really nice.
thick sweaters
Yeah,
made of
warm.
wool with quite a high neck, as you say.
Oh, it's the Mont Saint Michel that they've got in their logo.
So Mont Saint Michel, which is in Normandy. Yes. Okay.
Although it's contested.
Oh, is it?
'Cause apparently it's like there's a border between Normandy and Brittany, and
Yeah.
Mont Saint Michel used to be, I think, on Brittany's side, and then the water changed. It's on
Oh,
Normandy's
really?
side. It might be the other way around.
Okay.
Pretty sure it's in Normandy.
So it's a very nice sweater.
Oh.
5% battery left on
We're gonna
my
have to-
camera. What's going on here?
We're going to
It
have to
should be-
stop, because
Should be charging.
maybe it's fluffy. It's got fluff in there.
Is that a?
What? An official Apple
No,
charger.
I was going to say, is that? Oh God, is that cliffhanger of like, the jumper 5%? Find out in the next episode. Do you do cliffhangers?
No.
Okay. Well,
They
And
don't
that-
work for me.
That is
Right.
an exciting
So anyway,
cliffhanger.
let's get to the sweater then.
yeah. So
Sweater.
yeah, jumper.
Jumper
So
sweaters.
it's not related to Christmas. It kind of is, because it happened during Christmas time. But also, so my dad, who has got like early version of dementia.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
He does things that are a bit weird. So in like mid-November, I get a package through the door, and it's from St. James,
Yeah.
Saint James. And I open it, and there's like 2 jumpers in there. I'm like, oh, who is this from? I don't understand.
St. James, apparently.
Yeah, but I was like, why would they have sent me this? And I thought, because we got in touch with them, because for the poster that I made for my show, I'm wearing a stripy top,
Yeah.
because I wanted it to be a bit stereotypical English, a bit stereotypical French,
Yeah.
and mix those 2 together, whatever. And I thought maybe I don't know. So then I didn't quite understand, and I saw the date of the purchase. It was the day of my birthday. I go, So then I got in touch with my dad's partner to be like, did Dad buy me these jumpers for my birthday? She's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, neither of them fit. Okay, they're too small. Do you have the receipt so I can maybe ask? Clearly it's bought online. They probably don't do online return. Like, I'll try and figure something out. She's like, we're in the middle of moving house, so I can't really help. I don't have time to help you, sorry. So I asked him, he didn't remember, whatever. So I was just like, oh God. So I got in touch with St. James on Instagram using my Instagram
blue tick,
170,000 followers. I'm like, hey, St. James, Dad's got dementia. He bought me these presents like a month ago. I can't find the receipt. He can't find it. He doesn't even remember buying them. All this kind of stuff. I use your, like, as you can see by my poster, I use your thing, your stripy tops for my poster, and I'm going to wear that on stage. Is there any way I can come in and exchange these? Because they're too small. Like, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And it took ages. It took like a month for it to sort out because they had to go through the head office, do the thing or whatever, and blah, blah, blah. And like, yeah, come in and we can give you an exchange for an amount of up to €325. I was like, sorry, how much?
Well, they're expensive, those jumpers.
Yeah, I had no
they're
idea.
150 each, easy.
Yeah, and I was like, sorry, how much? I'm like angry at my dad for spending that much money on jumpers that I didn't, one, ask for, and two, weren't my size. And three, he's apparently poor and has no money left. So it's kind of like, it's that dementia thing where he's kind of, anyway. So I went into the shop. None of them had a clue who I was,
What?
Don't you know who I am?
No, but what I mean was like,
I'm Paul Taylor, don't you know?
I had to re-explain the whole
Mistake. Huge.
You've messed with the wrong person. You don't know who I am. I had my own series on Canal Plus.
No, I mean, I had to like re-explain the whole story of like, my dad bought these, blah, blah, and apparently the head office have called you, and they're like, oh, all right, we'll see what we can do. And it's a tiny shop that's like no bigger than this.
Which one did you go to?
The one in Le Marais.
Okay, yeah.
And it was rammed, and it was just like I was inconveniencing the whole staff. They didn't know how to find the.
They've got nothing better to do. That's literally their job.
Yeah, I know, but they also had other people who were just genuinely wanting to buy stuff.
Just
and
normal people who don't have
Not
170,000 followers on Instagram.
They don't have a blue tick.
They don't have a blue tick. These fucking losers who wanted to spend money, and I just wanted to not spend money.
Yeah.
And so eventually,
the money's been spent. Your dad spent the money.
Yeah, he spent the money, and so eventually. Some of the t-shirts, I'm like, yeah, they don't feel right. They didn't have the white on the black and the short sleeve. And I was just like, do you have any jumpers that are similar to this one? And I had my black Uniqlo. She's got, well, we've got one that looks very similar, so that's a bit thicker. And I tried it on. I'm like, yeah, just get two of these, fine, let's go. So that's why I have now a fancy black jumper.
They look really nice.
They're very nice, and I have to say, you're lucky that you found ones that didn't have buttons on the shoulders.
You don't like the buttons?
I can't have buttons on the shoulders of my sweaters. I don't know. I just don't want buttons.
Why are you calling them sweaters? What's happened?
What's wrong with saying
the word is jumper?
What is that? American English?
Yes.
Is it? Oh, sorry,
but
everybody.
sweater is also a hideous word.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because of sweat.
Yeah.
Okay, because you
jumper is a much
You're right.
nicer.
I have to say
word.
You're absolutely right. Jumper is much better. Pullover?
What's a pullover in English?
You okay with that?
What's a pullover?
I don't know. I feel like it's a thinner material.
Okay.
Like a sort of like what they might call a sweatshirt.
Right, so how would you so if you're wearing a hoodie but without the hood, that type of material.
Sweatshirt
material.
Yeah.
What would you call that?
I'd still
a jumper, right?
I'd still probably call it a jumper.
We just call that would be a jumper. This would be a jumper.
That's definitely a jumper.
You've got a woolly.
This a jumper?
This is jumper. It's the thin jumper.
Yeah.
But it's jumper.
There's a distinction between a jumper and a woolly jumper.
Yeah. Fair. Oh, we're cutting it fine.
Is my battery still
5%.
still okay?
Still filming us.
Woolly jumper would be one that's made of wool, and a jumper is just as we've described. But
could be any.
But I mean, a sweatshirt is what you're talking about. A hoodie, but without the hood. That material. That's a sweatshirt. Technically, yes, it is. It's a sweatshirt.
I think technically, but I think,
AKA sweater. But you did. Can I just point out the fact that you did just call me up on my English on my own English podcast?
Yeah.
Well, because it was also the third time you said sweater, and the third time.
And I saw that you nearly jumped out of your skin and fell off your chair, if that's possible. A skeleton left on the floor in that case, wouldn't it?
This is a question for you, both of you, because my children mix British English and American English because they listen to like podcasts and watch films and stuff like that. Do you step in
No.
Because I'm very much, it's candy floss, not cotton candy.
Oh yeah, well in certain cases, yeah, of course. I would never let my daughter get away with calling it cotton candy.
Right?
No way, it's candy floss, yeah. But then,
Well, next time she says sweater, give her a slap and say it's jumper, you imbecile.
on the naughty step. Yeah, but then, her pronunciation sometimes goes a bit American. And
Also,
I'm all right with that.
I don't mind that. I mean, that happens as well. Tomato. I've lost tomato. I've had tomato a number of times.
No, she doesn't do... So you keep saying these things, and I'm like, yeah, it's fine. And then you give me examples. I'm like, actually, no. Because I wouldn't stand for tomato.
I don't stand for tomato, but I've lost Bath.
What? Bath.
But it just sounds...
Bath.
But it just sounds northern. It just sounds... Because it's that soft A.
Yeah.
Bath.
So it just sounds like Bath.
Because in England, you've got Bath, you've got Bath, and you've got Bath as well, haven't you? In the southwest, Bath.
Well, where the people...
Which is a bit more like American English. Bath.
Oh, yeah, a little bit, yeah.
So, yeah, I can see that's not so bad. But something like tomato?
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
I agree. Cotton candy, I'm against it.
Yeah.
Pants are only underwear.
A candy cane or what do you call a pumpkin? What do they call it? A jack-o'-lantern.
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 Crisscross applesauce. Nope.
No, yeah, okay, fair dues. I tolerate certain bits of American English pronunciation, but when there are clear delineations...
Trash.
Forget
no
about
way.
It. No,
elevator.
It's rubbish.
Oh, no.
Lift,
no,
not an elevator.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a biscuit. It's not a cookie. Get to your room. Go to your room.
That used to be I used to be quite guilty of that myself, because obviously when I was working at Apple. Wait, did I ever tell you that I worked at Apple?
What?
Is that...
Did you know? Is this first I'm hearing
See,
this?
I've got an iPhone
this is the
X,
first
Paul.
I'm hearing
Right.
this.
I've got an iPhone X.
Oh, you
I'm
had
using
no
it as a
idea.
webcam, and it
okay.
keeps flashing up that it's 20% battery, even though it's plugged in.
Yeah.
But people ask you these about Apple stuff all the time.
Yeah, all
don't
the
they?
time. So anyway, when I work for them, like I find myself subconsciously using Americanisms just to be more understood. Like you just go with you know that if I say lift, there's going to be like oh right, elevator. So you just end up saying elevator instead, or apartment instead of flat.
But you go home and have a little cry though afterwards, don't you? Because you feel so bad. Like, I can't believe I had to say elevator.
No, but you have to.
Can't do this anymore.
You have to with American. Like I work with Americans, and I told them all. Like I said, we're going to go to the Eiffel Tower later. Be sure to bring a jumper. No one brought a jumper
because they're thinking what to jump off the Eiffel Tower.
They
They
didn't know what I was talking about. So it's true. Like you have to sort of modify your language when you're speaking to Americans, but not in my own home. Not in my own home, sir.
Isn't that what they call a jumper in America? It's like, we've got a jumper! Meaning someone who's going to jump off a building.
No, but they call it like a jumpsuit.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Is what they would call a jumper.
Right.
I don't even think they call it... I think they just call it a jumpsuit, so they presume that we mean
that's
a jumpsuit.
That's what I thought. They all thought that I told them to wear a jumpsuit.
Because they think, we're going to go up the Eiffel Tower, so make sure you bring a jumpsuit and a
parachute.
A parachute as well. Because there's no lift. Sorry, I mean elevator.
Yeah. Q, they don't understand Q. There's lots of... So I agree with you. I mean, when I speak to Americans, it's just quicker and easier to say elevator, sidewalk, line, stuff like that.
And we understand those things as
100%.
British people anyway. So I think unless you're in a pub in a small town in England, do you know what I mean? Like, I think it's all right to say sweater and, like Louise will ask me, she'll be like, she'll say something and I'll be like, oh, that's what American, like candy cane, because she watches Gabby's Dollhouse and there's candy cane, and now I'm like, in English we say, no, hold on. Was it candy cane? What was the one you said something?
Jack-o'-lantern.
Candy floss.
No, candy floss. Yeah. So I'll be like, in American they say cotton candy, which technically makes more sense because it's like candy, but it feels like cotton. Whereas candy floss, you're like, all right.
Is that like passive-aggressive English anger though? It's like, well, you called it cotton candy, but actually in British English, because remember you're British, it's actually candy floss. Okay, now don't do that again.
you gotta understand. My daughter said to me, "What is a party?" What's a party? From Gabby's old house. Party. And I was like, it is an American party. It's like a party, but in America. Party. And we have a party.
It's like where someone brings in a keg of beer and everyone gets loaded, and there's some guy who smashes a can of beer on his head. And
I think Louise is good at accents, so I think she'll be okay with that. She the other day, I was reading her a book which is called Ludo the Dodo. It's from Mauritius. When we were there, when I was on tour there, I got her this little book. And at some point, they're building sandcastles, and there's a page in there where it says, "And I'm the king of the castle."
Yeah.
And so I was reading this in bed, and obviously I just went, "King of the castle, wow, wow, wee, wow." Just because it reminded me of Borat and that scene where he's walking around in a really like shit hotel room, like flown in from Kazakhstan, and he's like, "Wow, wow, wow, king of the castle, I am in the chair, this was a chair, wow, wow, wow." And so I started imitating that, and then at some point she just cracked it out. She just goes, "King of the castle, wow, wow, wow." And it was amazing. And like, she waited for my wife to come up, and she's like, "Mummy," in French, she goes, "Mummy, do you know what daddy is?" And my wife's like, "What?"
I think I've got an idea.
I knew what was coming, but my wife's like, "What do you mean, what is he?" She's like, "Well, what is daddy?" She's like, he's a man?" She's like, "No, what is daddy?" And I'm like trying not to explode. She's like, "What is daddy?" And my wife's like, "I don't know, what do you mean, what is daddy? He's a human, he's a comedian, he's English, what do you mean?" She goes, "No, mummy, he's king of the castle, wow, wow, wee, wow." And she did like the whole shoulder movements and everything. It was amazing.
Oh my
Love
God.
that.
My daughter's got like a odd accent that shifts, as I said, between American English and British English, because a lot of her mates are American.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's at school.
Yeah, but it's like not just an American accent. She's got like this. Sometimes it sounds like a New Jersey kind of accent. So she's
Love that
obsessed
for
with
her.
horses, unicorns.
Yeah,
but she's not. It's not a horse. It's a horse.
Horse.
So she'll be playing. It's like, okay, so you're a horse, and I'm a unicorn.
And we're going to take the subway together.
Yeah, and like close the door as well. She calls it a door,
A door.
and a horse, and a unicorn.
I
Wow.
love that. I love
And I'm
that.
actually fine with that because it sounds so cute.
That's so
And
good.
gangster at the same time.
Yeah.
She should always say that.
Yeah.
Have you found the culprit parents
I don't
from
know.
New Jersey?
No, there's no one around who's from from New Jersey.
it's not
She's
a
not
kind of
like
New
watching
Jersey
The
school.
Sopranos or something. You know what I mean? So she's just gangster. She's just got that kind of Italian American kind of gangster thing going on.
Love that for her.
Wow.
Good for
Love
her,
that.
right? So, guys, before my phone dies,
Yeah.
we should probably, call it quits on the episode here. What do you think?
I think your computer's talking shit.
You reckon?
Well, I don't know. I find it weird. That's continuity camera, which is what
So
you.
that's this guy.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
connected via Wi-Fi. It's plugged into
Wi-Fi.
the connection to the
I don't know. It's weird.
it's plugged into the mains power.
To the mainframe.
Normally, filming with it doesn't drain it like that.
No.
So it's
especially
just-
if it's plugged in, it shouldn't be drained.
It's about time to wrap it up.
Yeah,
we
it's
should
been
wrap
an
up
hour
and
and 8
investigate.
minutes.
I think so.
Wrap
I
up
think
and
so.
investigate.
Okay, so any concluding thoughts? Any sort of statements to wrap up the episode? What has been the outcome?
I feel like we should probably wish your listeners a happy 2025.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Wherever they are in the world, because they're all over the world, your listeners.
They are
your
indeed.
watchers,
So-
your viewers
Yes.
on YouTube, and I hope that they
Have a good one.
that they have a good one, and that this helps them if they're having a rough first week, then it helps them have a smile.
Yeah.
This is going to go up probably in about 2 to 3 weeks' time.
I was going to say 2 to 3 months, so I'm like, all right, fuck it then. No happy.
This will go up.
As long as it's January, you can still say Happy New Year.
We'll
It's
see.
still
Yeah,
the
it might be.
beginning of the year.
Yeah, beginning of the year. Yeah, we can still say Happy New Year.
When we spent the entire time talking about our Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's all right.
Put it up in August. This would be amazing if you just cancelled this and then just saved it until August, and then
I'm waiting actually for the medieval museum episode. That's going to go up maybe in August. You've forgotten that even happened.
You've not even put that up
I haven't
yet.
put that up
The
yet
editing.
because the editing gave me such a headache that I just put it to one side and I haven't gone back to it because other episodes, like I've said before, this podcast is like a train or a huge sort of
Juggernaut.
Yeah, if you missed it,
or
you missed it.
a container ship where if something falls off, you've got to like turn the whole ship round.
Yeah.
And
get
sometimes something comes off and you just got to keep ploughing forwards because the next thing comes up, the next thing,
Yeah.
the next thing. the podcast train just keeps on rolling.
It was a technically ambitious episode.
It really was.
It's going to happen. It'll come back. I'll just muster up the courage to get back into the editing, and then I'll smash it, and then there'll be something where there'll be no ending because everyone's microphones cut out at different times. But anyway, that will arrive at some point.
We could do an in-studio ending.
Maybe we
could
could do that.
We could do an in-studio intro and in-studio outro.
The intro
like,
is
hi, welcome to the thing, blah, blah, blah.
The intro is
intro's
easy, 'cause it's just you talking.
the intro's all right. It's us standing in a park
That's
in
true.
front of the medieval
Yeah,
museum.
but you need an intro to that now because that was a year ago.
Yeah.
And or is it more? When was that? That was a year and a half ago.
Summer. It was summer.
No, it was the beginning of summer. Yeah, it was
last year?
June, July.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Oh, was my brother just about to leave?
Yeah, he had just finished.
He's finished his contract.
And
He's
he
about to
had
leave around the
gone
world.
on
Exactly,
holiday, yeah.
and then
Okay.
we went to a pub and we paid
€1 billion.
like €14 for a pint of Carlsberg each. Do you remember?
I do remember.
No.
You were in a steaming mood over something or other.
I think
No surprise.
Was I?
Yeah.
When
You
am
were in
I
a
ever in a
big,
steaming
big bad mood? You were
about something that happened to us, or just in general.
No.
in life?
The
Life.
medieval museum was fine, but once we'd done that, wrapped that up, it was like back to being in a really bad mood again. And then €14 for a pint of Carlsberg.
Was it really hot as well?
It was
it
work.
was so hot.
It was work related stuff.
Right, okay.
For you, you know.
Wasn't Edinburgh coming up?
Oh,
or-
I think it was all of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Edinburgh, getting the poster ready for the
Yeah,
Edinburgh
yeah.
Fringe.
Oh, it was supposed to. The next day you had the photo shoot,
Right.
and there was all drama.
You had the photo shoot for your poster for the Edinburgh Comedy.
Or you'd just done the photo shoot and you'd been massively hungover, and like there'd been drama. There was photo shoot drama.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, listeners, Happy New Year. I hope that your Christmas was better than Paul's. And if you do end up...
It was good, but it was just very tiring.
Yeah,
bit
And now I might have 10 minutes of
Good story though.
extra stuff to talk about on stage.
Indeed. Look forward to that.
It's all good.
Oh, by the way, listeners, Bisou Bai, Paul's spectacular third one-man show, written by the man himself, performed live on stage in various locations around the world, is now available to be viewed on the Tube of You.
The Tube of You.
YouTube.
YouTube?
Bisou Bai. Let's give a plug for that. Filmed live in Belgium, in Brussels.
Correct. Yes.
The show that everyone has been talking about. What's the concept of Bisou Bai?
It's my final bilingual show. So when you click on it, in the settings on YouTube, you can put the English subtitles or the French subtitles. I don't have any other language subtitles on there because I don't speak any of the other languages.
So put the English subtitles on, everyone.
Yeah. Put the English subtitles on, and you'll be able to understand the French bits.
Or like 50% of it's in English, 50% of it's in French with English subtitles. Yeah.
And it's the whole concept of the show is saying goodbye to a bilingual show and saying goodbye to other things in my life, including alcohol, the Queen, things like that. So the theme of the show was goodbye.
And of course, the Russian joke story is included.
And a part of the bilingual, like saying goodbye to bilingual, is that no one understands our English jokes in France. And Luke's Russian story joke, or Luke's Russian story. No,
Russian joke story.
Russian joke story. That's it. The Russian joke story, which is one of the fan favourites of your podcast.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to drop it for about a decade,
and
we'll never let you.
We'll never let you go.
Coming back.
But the Russian joke is back, ladies and gentlemen.
We talked about it a couple of episodes ago, so we've been through it again. So we don't need to do that again.
And also, in this one, when I say the original joke, like Luke said it on stage, the entire audience laughed, and I was like, "Yes, there we go!" An audience that understands the joke.
The audience in Brussels finally got it.
Yeah.
But I'm happy that joke is finally getting the audience that it deserved.
As opposed to 12 non-English speakers in a cave.
Who were just like, didn't even know a joke had even happened.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is when that happened in that cave in front of 12 people, little did we know that 10 years later, I'd be in front of 800 people in Brussels explaining that we would be at the Zenith in front of 4,000 people at the beginning of January last year, explaining this joke, and still half the room not understanding it, and then having to explain it in French. It's the joke that keeps on giving.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. It's like the lore of Luke's English podcast in action.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks, guys. Let's go and have some lunch, shall we?
Good idea.
Okay.
Vamos.
Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. I don't think I'll do an ending I might do an intro before the intro, and then I'll have to do an intro to that. So this is the way it goes on Luke's English podcast. So after the 19 intros, that's probably enough. I don't think I'll need to do an ending. So let's say goodbye now. Thank you so much for listening. Have a lovely morning, afternoon, evening, or night, and speak to you next time. But for now, it's time to say goodbye. Bye.
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 Bye. I think your camera's died. Bye.
Your camera died.
It's frozen.
Bye.
When did that happen?
Just now.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
perfect timing.
I saw it freeze.